The JF-17 Thunder is one of the most notable combat aircraft of our time. But of course, it is not notable in a similar manner as the F-35, Eurofighter Typhoon, Rafale, or even with its main rival, the Tejas. So what makes this aircraft matter? As the weapon detective, we are investigating the JF-17 and seeking an answer to this question. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel before we start, and give us a thumbs up if you like our video. To be notified of our new videos, please click the bell button. Also, you can now click the join button to support our channel. Talking about the JF-17 is a tricky business. Some claims that it is a highly successful combat aircraft, while others think otherwise. Depending on the point of view, they're both right. As always, before our analysis, let's take a look at the historical background and features of the JF-17. In the early 1980s, the Pakistan Air Force began to seek a new combat aircraft to replace its J-6s, the Chinese-built version of the Soviet MiG-19. Until then, Pakistan was only a good market for foreign aircraft manufacturers. But now, Islamabad wanted to build up a national aviation industry. In those years, the Western countries were not keen on technology transfer. So, China was the most suitable partner for Islamabad's dream. Both countries had problematic relations with India, which made them natural allies. Besides, it was highly beneficial for Beijing, which had focused on reaching to new markets and increasing its influence in the region. Another factor also made this cooperation more beneficial. Since the late 1970s, the USA had improved its relations with China to counterbalance the USSR. So, China, which began to reach many advanced Western technologies, started a program on a new combat aircraft called Super 7. By cooperation, Pakistan could reach Western technologies with low prices and free from restrictions. Two developments ended this dream. The 1989 Tiananmen Square protests and massacre ended the honeymoon between Beijing and Washington. Besides, Islamabad did not have enough money. It would either buy a new combat aircraft or build up a national aviation industry. Naturally, Pakistan chose to fulfill its urgent needs rather than actualizing a dream. And it decided to buy the best fighter of the time, the F-16. But because of Pakistan's nuclear program, the USA imposed many open and covered arm embargoes on this country. So, Islamabad realized the importance of an independent aviation industry and turned its face to China again. Pakistani efforts on building up a national aviation industry were not new. In 1971, this country began to establish some aircraft overhaul facilities. In the 1990s, the Pakistan aviation industry, gathered under the umbrella of Pakistan Aeronautical Complex, had reached some level of maturity. Also, China and Pakistan jointly developed the Ka jet trainer. Now, they were ready for the next step. So the Pakistan Aeronautical Complex of Pakistan and the Chengdu Aircraft Corporation of China signed an agreement to jointly develop and produce a new jet fighter in 1999. This aircraft would replace the A-5, F-7, Mirage 3, and Mirage 5s of the Pakistan Air Force. For the Chinese side, this was a commercial cooperation. The People's Liberation Army Air Force had already begun to operate the J-10s, so it did not need a new jet fighter. The new aircraft is named JF-17 Thunder in Pakistan and FC-1 Xiaolong in China. The initials J and F refer to the words joint and fighter. Pakistan has chosen the number 17 to indicate that the new aircraft is the successor of the F-16. The name FC-1 means Fighter China 1. Thanks to using computer-aided design software, the design phase was short. Also, adapting some of the J-10's onboard systems onto the JF-17 helped further shorten this time and reduce costs. China produced the prototypes. The aircraft officially made its first flight on September 2, 2003, but it had actually met the sky for the first time on August 25, 2003. The development phase was relatively easy, but there were some problems too. The JF-17 had the Klimov RD-93 turbofan. India, one of the main customers of the Russian military systems, lobbied to prevent this engine's sale. This lobbying effort would be successful until 2007. The first two pre-production JF-17s arrived in Pakistan on March 23, 2007. They were used for flight evaluation rather than actual combat deployment. The Pakistan Air Force received the serial production JF-17s in 2009. In the same year, production in Pakistan began. The JF-17 reached squadron-level operation capability in 2010. Pakistan produces 58% of the aircraft's airframe, including front fuselage, wings, and vertical stabilizer, and executes the final assembly works. The airframe is generally of aluminum alloy. Some critical areas are of high-strength steel and titanium alloy partially. It makes the aircraft heavy. So if we look at the Block 1 variant, we may say that the JF-17 is a third-plus generation aircraft rather than a fourth generation due to the production materials. Its fly-by-wire flight control system is also primitive to some degree. But also, the JF-17 has some advanced features like the diverterless supersonic inlet that eliminates all moving parts, which makes it less complex and more reliable than the earlier diverter plate inlets. The removal of moving parts also reduces the weight of the aircraft. Although Pakistan initially intended to equip this aircraft with a Western radar, the JF-17 is equipped with the KLJ-7 radar, which is a miniaturized version of the KLJ-10 of the J-10s. This radar can detect up to 40 air, ground, and sea targets. It can track 10 targets and send 2 missiles simultaneously. The KLJ-7 can detect a target with a radar cross-section of 5 square meters at a range of 105 kilometers. The first 51 JF-17s are the Block 1 variant. As mentioned before, they are a third-plus generation aircraft rather than a fourth generation. Now, Pakistan is modernizing the Block 1s to Block 2 standards. The production of the Block 2 JF-17s began in 2013. Different from its predecessor, this variant has aerial refueling capability and more advanced avionics and electronic warfare suite. The use of composite materials reduces the weight, which increases the payload. But there is a price to pay for everything. These enhancements make the aircraft nearly twice as expensive. Currently, the works on the Block 3 variant continue. This model will have the KLJ-7A active electronically scanned array radar, helmet-mounted display, more advanced Western avionics, 3-axis digital fly-by-wire flight control system, and infrared search and track system. Besides, the Block 3s will be equipped with the advanced infrared missile warning system used in the J-10C and J-16. The use of composite materials will be increased. It will have the more powerful WS-13 turbofan. By reducing the weight and increasing the power, the Block 3 variant will reach a maximum speed of Mach 2. The WS-13 has better reliability than the RD-93. Also, unlike the current engine, it does not have a smoke problem. The new KLJ-7A radar can simultaneously track 15 targets and engage 4 targets, which will increase the combat capability dramatically. So, the JF-17 will finally catch 4th plus features with the Block 3 model. The 2-seat conversion trainer variant, JF-17B, has a larger dorsal spine and a more swept-back tail. This model can carry fuel in its vertical stabilizer, which the single-seat JF-17s cannot. Soon, the JF-17Bs will be upgraded to Block 3 standards. Some aircraft are equipped with the SL-Pod targeting pod to enhance their precision strike capability. Myanmar, Nigeria, and Pakistan are the current users of the JF-17. Also, many countries have expressed their interest. The JF-17 has a length of 14.93 meters, a wingspan of 9.44 meters, and a height of 4.77 meters. Its wing area is 24.43 square meters. The aircraft's empty weight is about 6,586 kilograms, while its maximum takeoff weight is 12,384 kilograms. One 84.4 kN Klimov RD-93 afterburning turbofan engine provides a top speed of Mach 1.6. The aircraft can reach a range of 2,500 kilometers. The JF-17's combat radius is 800 kilometers. It can climb an altitude of nearly 17,000 meters, in other words, 55,510 feet. The aircraft has one 23mm twin-barrel Gsha-23 2-gun and 7 hardpoints with a capacity of 3.7 tons ordnance. The JF-17 can carry the PL-5E2, PL-9C, PL-10E, PL-12, PL-15, R-Darter air-to-air missiles, CM-102, MAR-1, LD-10 anti-radiation missiles, C-601, C-705KD, CM-802 AKG, CM-400 AKG anti-ship missiles, and Ra-2 cruise missile, as well as different types of bombs. The Pakistan Air Force has used the JF-17s in real combat missions. These aircraft bombed the terrorist positions in North Waziristan near Pakistan-Afghanistan border in 2014 and 2017. A Pakistani JF-17 shot down an Iranian military drone near the Pakistan-Iran border in Balochistan in 2017. In 2019, Pakistan claimed that a JF-17 shot down an Indian MiG-21, yet the Indian sources denied the incident. As mentioned before, the current variants of the JF-17 barely fulfill the conditions to be a fourth-generation fighter. It does not offer a breakthrough in military aviation. Still, we should accept that the aircraft is a fruit of a highly successful program. The concept of success depends on the player and the point of view. Of course, designing the JF-17 is not a success for the major Western aviation industries. But it is a non-negligible achievement for Pakistan in terms of technological capabilities and program management. Our many viewers may claim that the main rival of the JF-17, the Tejas, is a more successful combat aircraft. We agree on that. But the Pakistanis' target and way to reach this target in this program was more realistic. As mentioned in our Tejas video, the Indians executed the LCA program as a national pride matter. They kept the bar high. Delhi has aimed to compete with the Western world. Before the baby steps, it tried to run. But the urgent needs of the Indian Air Force forced India to acquire the Rafales and Su-30s. On the contrary, the Pakistanis focused on the needs and chose a more pragmatic way. They needed a simple aircraft to replace the obsolete second and third generation combat aircraft. The aim of Islamabad was not to prove itself against the former colonial powers of the West. A fighter which could fly decently and fire modern missiles was enough for the Pakistanis. They were open to working with other countries. It was just a business, not a national pride matter. Islamabad did not have a big budget for building up an aviation industry. It would have to be cheap to achieve this dream. And Pakistan managed to keep the budget low. Thanks to the joint development program, Pakistan enjoyed the Chinese co-financing. India and Pakistan have different threat perceptions. India has to deal with both China and Pakistan. But Pakistan has no true enemies other than India. And the wars in 1965 and 1971 have shown that India has no intention to invade Pakistan. So, a simple aircraft is enough for Pakistan's interest. The Pakistanis have improved the JF-17's capabilities block by block. The combat capabilities of the Block 3 variant will be enough to fight against other 4th and 4th plus generation combat aircraft. On the contrary, India has always felt the threat of invasion by great foreign forces. The Indian Air Force need advanced combat aircraft to prevent this apocalyptic scenario. India cannot follow the way of Pakistan. Besides, as we mentioned in our many other videos, many countries need low-cost, simple fighters rather than 5th generation ones. This market is easy and profitable for a new aviation company. Trying to compete with big players like the USA, Europe or Russia is not wise for a beginner. Thanks to the joint development program, Beijing's influence helps them find new customers for the JF-17 in the international market. Pakistan may have never succeeded in selling the aircraft alone. India desires to compete with the big players, whereas Pakistan tries to reach the market which they ignore, and it has already succeeded it. The circumstances and the pragmatic thinking have helped the Pakistanis' success. If we compare the JF-17 with other competitors in the market, we can define it as a not-so-successful aircraft. But for Pakistan, it represents an impressive achievement. Thanks for watching our video. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up if you liked our video. To be notified of our new videos, please click the bell button. Also, you can now click the join button to support our channel.